Welcome to R&R, Relationships in Real Estate. I'm your host, Chris Silva. This is my lovely wife, Corey Silva.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on R&R. Chris and I are the owners of Silva Realty and Silva Lending, and we both have been in this business for, like 17 years now.
About 17 years.
And we love what we do, and we're super excited to be here today to talk all things relationships and real estate. So for all of you who are here with us today, and for those of you who have been joining us after we stream the podcast, we're so grateful for you. Thank you so much for engaging with us and providing your feedback. We really appreciate it. And we will love to answer questions today. And so please ask us questions during the podcast. It looks like we have Tanya Demarest here with us. Hi.
Hi, Tanya.
And for those of you who are watching and you're a little bit shy, can you just wave or do a heart or some type of emoji? Because we can't see if you're actually on the podcast, but we want to say hello to you.
We've been really surprised. We've been to a lot of functions lately, and we're running into people that are saying, oh, we love the show. And I had no idea that they watched the show.
I didn't realize that people are actually watching us, so we're excited. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to get on here. And I'm not going to lie, I'm super nervous every single time we go live. But just getting the feedback we've been receiving, it makes me feel a little bit more at ease. So it looks like Christian's joined us too. Christian Silva, hi.
How you doing, Christian?
Thanks for being on here with us today.
Cool thing is we didn't really know, and we still don't know what's going to come of this show, right? The big idea of this show was I wanted everybody and Robert behind the camera, and Corey, we all wanted you to see Corey and let you know that Corey is so enthralled in our business, but she never gets to see anybody. You don't get to see the clients like I do all the time. And this is a way for you to interact with them and for them to see you every single week. And that's my favorite thing about the show. And we get to sit down and talk to each other for 80 minutes without being interrupted by the kids.
I know.
That never happens.
It's kind of rare. It's fun though. It's like, so how have you been this week? So it's really nice. And I really enjoy it because you guys get a little bit of a look at what I have to go through each day, right? So it's not just the kids, it's also real estate and back end stuff with auditing files and staying in contact with our clients, whether it's through birthday cards or anniversary cards. It's a lot of fun what we do, and we're just excited that we're able to share it with you and that you guys are actually interested in it, right? Because we could just be sitting here and there could be crickets.
Right.
So that wouldn't be too fun.
So from last week's show, it's been a blur. I mean, the last 7 days have flown by for me personally. We had the show, very next day, kids are in jiu-jitsu, so you're running them to school and all that stuff, which I've been helping on the drop-offs and the pickups as much as I can, a little bit more now. Friday, we went to California Adventure. That's a whole other thing we'll talk about later. Saturday, the kids had their first sleepover.
Yes.
That was a big thing. Saturday night, the reason they had the sleepover is because we got to celebrate one of our very best friends, Christine Watkins, her 40th birthday.
She turned 40, and wow, like 40 and fabulous. Let me tell you, like we walked in like, Christine, what's been happening? Like, tell me your secrets, because she just looked amazing. She had this beautiful dress on, and her energy, if you haven't met Christine, everything about her is just light. Like, she is the light of the party, right? And the light, and everything about her just exudes positive energy. And so we wanted to take the time to say happy 40th birthday. Today is her official 40th.
Happy birthday.
And part of her party favors were to take a shot with her today. We don't have the shots here, but we will be posting about that later because we are taking a shot in your honor today, Christine. So happy birthday. She's in Tulum, partying it up, having a good time. Wish I was there.
I'm a little jealous. Yeah, definitely don't want to take a shot on air, not because it's on air, but because we got to pick up the kids after this. And just imagine you pick up the kids, you got tequila breath.
Oh, yeah, that would not be good.
Not a good idea. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after. Christine, though, you did rock that dress.
She did.
She slayed it, right? Sunday was football for me.
Yes.
And we celebrated, right, with the family.
Yeah, we had a huge get-together.
I mean, it's the same get-together. It wasn't a huge get-together.
For me, it felt huge because we had both sides of the family there. So Chris's family, it's our family, but his side of the family comes over every week, and we have family dinners. And it's used to be on Sundays, but now it's Saturdays. So we have our family dinner. And then this time, my family came over as well on my side. So it was nice because all the kids got to play together. And I was on the grill the whole time, making a feast for everybody. And I had my sous chefs in the kitchen too. So shout out to my sister and the sister-in-laws who are there to help us prepare the food. And it was a lot of fun. And you got to watch the Raider game. And you did nothing for your birthday. You got to chill. That's all you ever want every year, right?
No, I got exactly what I wanted for my birthday. So it was really awkward. So because I did nothing all day. That never happens. So yeah, I chilled all day. Kudos to you. Thank you so much. You're the best.
Oh, you're welcome.
Best friend. So, and I got to watch the Raiders. So if anybody doesn't know that I'm a Raider fan, where have you been? Because I've been a diehard Raider fan. Why? I don't know why. I've been a diehard Raider fan for about 25 years. So I never experienced them winning championships.
Right.
They always talk about, oh, the Raiders won 3 championships. I wasn't watching them back then. Why I like them, I don't know. I think it's just because their jerseys were cool when I was young, silver and black.
Well, you're from LA. Like, Raiders are a thing. You grew up like with the Raiders being all about LA, and you're like a huge LA fan of everything, right?
That makes sense. But then they left, and I try to root for other teams. I didn't really try. I tried to root for the Rams when they came here. They make it to the Super Bowl their very first season back in LA, and I didn't care. I mean, not at all. And they were going against the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. I don't hate them anymore because they're nothing without Tom Brady. I said it, you Patriot fans watching this show. Patriots are garbage. They're trash. They're lucky they had Tom Brady for 20 years. But I hated their guts. So you would think I'd have some kind of emotion watching that game. Nothing. Just let me know I'm not a Rams fan. Raiders till I die. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Everything you said about all that, I'm just like, I don't know anything you just said about
I'm a football guy.
football, but I'm sure the people who enjoy football can appreciate your little analysis about the other teams and how you don't like them. But I'm glad you had a good time on your birthday. You're able to relax, watch a little bit of Raiders, and chill. And then we also had our family in town. Lulu and Angel came to visit. They moved away a while ago, and they came to visit with us, and the kids had so much fun. Everyone was super excited to see them, and they made it back home safely. They drove in 2 days all the way back to Houston. They were driving fast.
They went through Mexico. So they had their passports because they drove through New Mexico.
Okay.
That's an inside joke, by the way.
Anyways, we had a lot of fun with our family on the weekend. And we kind of brushed over Santino and Nola's first sleepover.
Oh, well, tell me about it.
I wanted to talk about it, but you said, let's talk about it later. I want to talk about it now. So we're really, really particular about where our kids are and who they're with, right? So
some would say a little crazy.
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's right. We're very, very overprotective.
Crazy about our kids.
Yes. So normally when they stay the night anywhere, it's only at Grandma's house, Grandma and Papa's house. And this past weekend, because we went to the birthday party, they were able to go and have their first sleepover with their cousins at my brother and sister-in-law's house. And let me tell you, she totally treated them like, oh, she's just amazing. She had a little cake decorating party, not cake, cookie decorating party for Halloween. So they had so much fun. And they were already excited enough, but thank you, Lindsay and Alan, for making it such an exciting experience for them. Poor little Nola got sad at night because she wanted her mommy and daddy, but Lindsay was able to keep her nice and calm, and they want to go back. So it was exciting for them.
It's huge for us because we are a little bit overprotective with our kids, which we're the parents. We have every right to be, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't feel comfortable with them with very many people.
Right.
So they're one of the very few people that I feel comfortable, especially having them sleep at somebody's house.
Right.
Because, you worry, are the kids going to feel comfortable? Are they going to be afraid?
Well, our kids still come to our bed. Well, not so much Santino anymore, but Nola comes to our bed every single night.
Every single night.
And it's almost like it's just automatic. She's kind of like a ninja, just sneaks in there. And the night before, was it the night before we went out of town to Texas, she had a sleepwalking episode where she woke up downstairs screaming.
Freaked me out.
And I'm like, uh-oh, she got this from her mom. This is not good. So that worried me a little bit, leaving her at someone else's house, being that she was sleepwalking. Like, I don't know, she might end up outside like I did when I was a kid in the rain. I don't know. So
Wait. Tell me about that. What happened now?
I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, and I don't know what it is, but apparently it must be hereditary if it's getting passed on to her. But I would just wake up in the middle of the night and be in the living room and just, why is everybody staring at me? This is really weird. And then it just progressively got worse over time. So one day I wake up and I'm down the street from our house. And it was nighttime. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm looking around and the sky was all gray and sky was all purple. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that, but that's how it felt. I felt like I was in a Prince video, right? And I'm like, what the heck? And so I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, why am I outside? And I had to walk back to my house. I start banging on the door. I was maybe 7 or 8.
What?
Yes. And I start banging on the door. And I'm like, somebody open the door, let me in. And my dad is at the door and he's like, what are you doing out there, Lisa? Lisa's my cousin. He thought my cousin showed up at the house because she's like 8 years older than me. So I don't know, maybe she needed a place to stay or I don't know. So I was like, what are you doing out there, Lisa? I'm like, Dad, it's me. Let me in the house. Like, how did you get outside? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I sleptwalk. They had locks all over the doors where I couldn't reach them because they were afraid I was going to leave the house.
I'd be too. I'd be worried as well.
How terrifying as a kid.
What I got from that story was Corey started sneaking out of the house when she was 7 years old. So maybe I got to keep tabs on Tino.
No, it was not that at all. Oh my gosh.
What were you doing?
I don't know.
You had a party to get to.
I guess at 7. Yeah. And there was other bouts of sleepwalking. Another one, which I'm not going to go into detail.
Which I actually have a sleepwalking story that I'd love to tell.
Okay. Well, before we get into that, there's a comment on here. Silver Realty. Is Corey making this up? Laugh out loud. Let us know in the comments. Oh, yeah. Let me know if you think I'm making this up. It gets better. But before we get to that, we should probably reintroduce ourselves for anyone who's just joining us. So I'm your host, Corey Silva. This is my handsome husband, Christopher Silva. And we are on R&R, Relationships in Real Estate. We're the owners of Silver Realty and Silva Lending. And we're so excited that you guys are all here joining us. It looks like we still have Evelyn joined us. Hi, guys. We made it. Yay. We were just talking about you and your trip. And thanks for visiting us. Can't wait to see you again.
We all loved it. Everybody had a great time seeing you guys.
So back to the sleepwalking. Okay. Do you want more?
Well, I want to.
Or is it too much?
I got to tell one more quick sleepwalking story because it was hilarious. So I'm gonna go back 16 years. Me and Corey have been together 25 years. So we had just bought our house, right? I think we just got married, something like that. But we had a small little house, and we had one bathroom. And you'd walk from the master bedroom. You'd walk through a little closet, which is strange, right into the bathroom. So in the morning, if the doors, if you're in the bathroom and the door's open, you could see the other person in bed. Anyhow, I hear Corey talking to me. So I open the bathroom door and I'm looking straight down at her. And she gets up out of bed, sits down very proper, just how she's sitting right now. And she goes, I can help the next person in line down here. So Corey, she's looking right at me and she's dead asleep. Freaked me the hell out.
She was like, what did I get myself into?
I did. I started.
You try to annul it?
I started second guessing myself. Anyhow, she used to work at Washington Mutual. She was a bank teller. So this girl eats, sleeps, and breathes real estate now, but back then it was banking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would have these vivid dreams about like not making it to work on time. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
You had to sell those checking accounts.
I guess so. But I think the worst sleepwalking bout, which, oh my gosh, my poor parents, they probably wanted to just, I don't know how I would react if this happens with Nola and Santino. I sure hope not. But we went on a trip to Las Vegas. It was my mom and I, and at the time our best friends and her best friend. And we were staying there. And as kids, I probably wouldn't take my kids to Vegas, but times were different then. So we were playing on the elevators that day to go get ice because we needed ice for the room. So that night I wake up again. It was like outdoors with the gray sky, but this time I was in a Las Vegas elevator. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And I had the whole comforter for the bed in my hands. in the elevator, and I remember there was two people standing to the right of me and one to the left asking me what floor I wanted to go to. And I'm a kid. I'm like maybe 10. I don't know. I was so freaked out, and I luckily remembered the floor we were on because we were playing on the elevators and getting ice, which I know you're not supposed to play on the elevators, but we did. What kid doesn't want to play on elevators where you like press a button and you jump up and the floor comes up and it's so cool, right? So then I come back and I'm like banging on the door again. I remember the room number. I mean, I don't remember room numbers nowadays. I have to keep that little card on me to figure out how I'm getting back. Mom's like, how did you get out? I don't know, Mom. So that was like so crazy. So I hope we don't have to experience that. Anyone could have just taken me. I'm glad I'm still here with you all.
My goodness.
So anyways.
You haven't slept walking in a long time.
Thank goodness. Well, I guess Nola is now, so yikes.
Yikes. Hopefully we don't have too many bouts with Nola sleepwalking.
I hope not. So anyways.
Time for some new locks. If anybody knows a locksmith, send them my way.
Put them up nice and high. So would you like to switch gears up a little bit? Maybe talk about some real estate?
I don't know. I think before we talk about real estate, why don't we talk about what we did on Friday?
Oh, sorry. Skipped ahead there. So on Friday we went to California Adventure.
Which I thought we were going to Disneyland. I thought that was going to happen until we got there.
Well, Chris doesn't really know. He just kind of goes with the flow, right? I do the planning when it comes to our family Fridays. So for those of you who aren't familiar with going to Disneyland and California Adventure, you have to make a reservation each time, right? So, but you have to decide which park you're going to go to first if you're going to be doing the park hopper. So but we got there in the afternoon. And the kids, like nowadays, they have their idea of what's fun. So I think they like to go on these rides that are a little bit more adventurous and not so easygoing.
Right.
And so that's how we ended up at California Adventure.
Oh, okay. I thought like after a certain time, after 1 o'clock or something, it doesn't matter what park you go to.
Yeah,
first.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. So we went to California Adventure, and what I'm used to doing, and it tires you out, always have Disneyland or California Adventure hangover. It's because you're shooting back from one park to the next park, trying to make the kids happy to get on every single ride they want to get on, right? Mm-hmm. So this time was way different. We were at California Adventure the whole day, and they were super content to be there.
Oh, of course. Well, it was half the day, because by the time we got down there with the traffic,
4 o'clock, right?
Oh my gosh, the traffic's horrible on Friday afternoons.
I keep telling you, take the kids out of school, just let them get checked in for attendance, and then bye. Let's go to Disneyland.
Don't
Friday.
incriminate yourself on this podcast, because we do know some of the teachers at these schools, so please don't do that. It looks like we have a few guests that have joined us. Hi, Urvashi. So great to see that you're here with us. And Floor, thank you for being here. So excited.
We're so excited to have you. It's so cool. It's so fun to see people interact with us and tune in, and it makes me really happy. I'm excited to be here every single week.
Yes, me too. So you want to finish about your story at California Adventure?
I do. Before I do that, for anybody just joining us, or Vashi, Floor, you are joining us on R&R, Relationships and Real Estate, with Chris and Corey. But back to what we were talking about. So California Adventure, for those of you that don't know and go to Disneyland, a couple cool things about California Adventure. There's liquor there, which I'm not trying to get wasted there, but it's nice to have a beer, walk around, have a beer, relax a little bit. There's some rides that I will not go on.
Like?
Goofy Sky School. I don't know if anybody's been on Goofy Sky School, but why would you want to get on a ride that feels like you're getting rear-ended in a parking lot?
That ride is
That's what it feels like to me. I've been rear-ended in a parking lot before. You know, it feels like a fender bender like 20 times on that ride. It's like stop and go. And I get off that ride and I need a cane. It destroys my back. I need to see a chiropractor like right after I get off that ride. So I don't have to go on that ride. I get the pass, and the kids love that ride. So you go on it with them.
It's their favorite ride is Goofy Sky School, and I totally don't mind it. There are 3 spots where you feel like you're going to get whiplash, but you just have to learn when that's coming. So you could brace yourself. You just put your feet down, like Santino says, and you just get in that little right spot, and you're not going to get hurt. So Goofy Sky School is like their number one. They went on that, and Dad got to go chill, get a beer, have a little bit of
Have
food.
a hot dog, yeah.
A hot dog, which he wasn't too excited about. But we went on Goofy Sky School, and they had so much fun. And we circled back by the end of the day to go there, right? And right now, the lines are really great. They're not that long at all. And we went on that ride 8 times in a row. Get off, run around, get back on. These kids are so excited about Goofy Sky School. It's the cutest thing. They're dancing on the way up there. Mom, can we go again? I'm like, one more time. I think I said one more time like 5 times. But we shut that park down.
It was cool too.
Goofy Sky School, we rode on it right until they closed.
While you guys were riding that, I was on a credit coaster, which is my favorite ride there. And 15 minutes, I think it was less than 15. It said 15, but it felt like I was in and out in 10 minutes. Came back and you guys were still on Goofy Sky School.
I know. We had a lot of fun. I mean, why not just keep going on something that they absolutely love instead of going and walking around the park trying to find something else that they may like? When they like it, just keep taking them on it.
Which I think, so anybody out there that thinks you have to take your kid to Disneyland, sure, Disneyland's great. Love Disneyland. Nothing compares to it. But what do you think? You think California Adventure is a good alternative to Disneyland?
Well, of course it is. But I think a combo is always good. I think right now we're able, because we have the pass and we know we're going to be able to come back multiple times for the next year, then we have that luxury of just staying at one park. But for the people who are going to go and they have one day to experience Disneyland, you have to go to both parks.
Yeah.
You have to break your back. You have to get there at 8 a.m. when they open and stay until 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
And you have to experience like both sides of the park. That's just my opinion though.
It's a lot of walking in one day. Mm-hmm. There's not very many places to rest.
Yes, there's plenty of spots to rest. Sit down, grab some food, relax.
Well,
I'm getting some vibes like you're not really digging the walking there.
I'm a little broken now that I'm older.
Well, maybe we need to get him one of those wheelchairs so he can
It's so
ride
sad.
around.
So if anybody doesn't know it, so I've always had back issues, right? So now Corey wants me to. We're going to Disneyland or California Adventure every single Friday. So we're going again this Friday. That's our new Family Fridays, Fall Family Fridays at Disneyland. So in order for me to make it through the week and through that day and not get injured, because we went in the summertime and I was injured for like 2 months, remember?
He blamed it all on Disneyland walking.
Well, it was a couple factors, but it's driving to the park. You're in traffic for 2 hours. And if you got back issues, my right leg's going like this the whole time. So I'm already tense. And then you're pushing the stroller for 8, 10, 12 hours. And then you're driving back. So it kills me. So now Corey's driving to the park, pushing the stroller, and then I drive back.
Yeah.
And it's worked out. I'm still able to keep going.
Whatever I have to do to make it more enjoyable for you, dear. It looks like Urvashi made a comment. She said the Cars ride is awesome. Yes, that is probably one of my favorite rides, I would have to say. Because it's not a roller coaster and it's not just an experience. It's like a combination of both, right? And so you get like that excitement, right? Of like going fast, but then you also have the whole Disney experience of like, I don't know, like they bring everything to life for you. And we were having this conversation with Santino the other day because he said, "Oh, I like the ones that go fast, Mom. I don't really want to sit on these rides like Little Mermaid or like Small World. Like I want to go fast, Mom. I want that excitement." And I'm like, well, Cars is the perfect combination for it. But you have to sit and wait like 45 minutes for that ride.
There's always a line. So this Friday, this breaks down an example of going to both parks. So they love Buzz, though, as far as Buzz Lightyear, where you're shooting all the Martians and the targets over at Disneyland.
Zurg.
Trying to get Zurg, right? They love that ride. So she's looking at the app, and it says 10-minute wait. But we're at California Adventure, so by the time we get to that ride, it's going to be 25 minutes.
Right.
Probably, right? Because you have to exit the park, enter the park, then walk there. And then Tino and Nola want to go on Cars. Of course, Urvashi, they want to go on Cars because it is awesome. But it's an hour wait. So we've never had the kids wait for an hour because before we would buy
The fast pass.
the fast passes. So the kids, we let them understand, hey, that's like 3 Pokemon episodes. That's like 7 Tots episodes, right? That's how long an hour is going to be if you guys want to wait in line for it. They decided to wait, and we got so lucky. So we get on the ride, we're going through it, and then we get stuck. If you guys have been on cars, when you go in for the paint job, what's the name of the car that does the paint?
I forgot.
He runs like the low. He's the low rider on the car. Anyhow, we get stuck there, so I'm smelling that paint, and the ride shuts down for like 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So we go through the ride. It turns back on. We go through the best part, the fast part at the end of the race, and then they let us go again.
Well, we get to the end to get out, and Nola goes, "Oh, can we go again?" And I said, "Oh, baby, I don't want to wait in that line again. If you want to wait in that line, we can, but I don't think so." And she's like, "Okay." And then we pull up, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to ride again?" And we're like, "Yay!" Start screaming, and Nola's like, "I got my wish. I asked for it, and I got it." And I'm like, "Yes, you did, baby, but it doesn't always work.
Work that way." So Urvashi said it was Luigi. So Urvashi, there's 2 different ways that you can go on the ride, and you don't pick, right? So one is with the low rider guy, can't remember his name, and the other one is Luigi. So Luigi's when they change the tires.
Yes.
And the other guys, you get the paint job.
Correct.
I just can't remember that other guy's name.
I forgot his name too. If anyone thinks about it, just post a comment on there. We'd love to know. But bottom line is we had so much fun on that ride.
So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Do you
Ramon.
think Ramon?
Oh yeah, Ramon.
Thanks, Tanya. Ramon. that's right. So, what do you guys think out there? Do you think California Adventure is a good alternative to Disneyland? And would you actually go there instead of going to Disneyland ever if you had to choose?
Curious to know.
I definitely would. Yeah. That's also because we've been to Disneyland so many times.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because the kids are a little bit older now, so they want the rides that are a little bit more adventurous. And so I think that's probably why it's like opening your eyes to like, wow, this is a really cool alternative to go. And especially because the whole new Marvel Land.
Oh, the Marvel
Land.
You know,
Chris got to see Spidey like jumping through the sky, which was
pretty
so
amazing how
cool.
They do that.
Yeah. And so Urvashi said, yes, for kids 6 and above, of course. Yeah. So as they're older, then you definitely have a lot more options as far as going. But when they're little ones, of course you want to go to Disneyland. They get to go on Small World when they're in their little baby carriers. And
I love those rides that you can just sit in air conditioning.
That's what Chris looks forward to, is just relaxing and then cooling off on those hot days.
I was so sad that Nola's over Little Mermaid. That was my favorite ride. So it's like it's a long ride. It's like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yes.
Of just sitting in air conditioning.
And he's missing that.
Oh, I miss it.
She's growing up. No longer a baby.
She's done with it. Now she wants all the fast rides.
Yes.
That girl's been on Guardians of the Galaxy. That's insane.
I know. And she loves to rub it into her brother's face and say, I went on Guardians of the Galaxy and I kept my eyes open and Santino didn't. I'm like, dang, girl. Savage.
She's cold-blooded.
I know. She wants to keep up with her brother so bad. That's why. She wants him to know, like, hey, I can compete with you, you know?
So, I mean, that was our Friday.
Yes.
Right? And kids loved it. And I always love to see you guys all happy. I was happy to be there, but it makes it fun for me because everybody's so happy to be there, right? Then I had my Disneyland on Sunday. So I know you don't want to hear too much about the Raiders, but I just got to say we're 3-0. So just some stats out there for people that don't know about the Raiders that want to hate on us. It's the first time they've ever started 3-0. Any team actually in the whole NFL, in the history of the NFL, has started 3-0 where the 3 wins are against teams that had 10 wins the previous season. So they're all playoff teams, pretty much. But this week's a huge one. They're playing the Chargers here in LA at SoFi. I'm like on the fence. Do I go to the game? Do I not go? I think I'm going to watch it at home because it's going to be on ESPN. But if you've ever been to a Raider game here in LA when they play the Chargers, it's the funniest thing ever because it's like a Raider home game. I almost feel bad for the Charger fans, for the sad Charger fans out there, aka Miss Frieden. That's
Nola's
TK teacher, used to be Santino's teacher. I got funny things. So what I do, Nola's not as much of she's a little bit more worried than Santino was. I would send Santino to school in Raider gear
Just to mess
just
with
to
the
mess
teacher.
with the teacher. But Nola's like, oh, Miss Frieden's gonna get mad, so she doesn't like to do it. But every time I pick her up, I have a Raider cap on or a shirt.
It was funny because Santino was in TK during the initial shutdown, and Mrs. Frieden was so sweet. She would send packages to the kids, and one time she sent this little cutout, like cartoon of herself, and she was dressed in her Chargers gear. So I made a new outfit for her with just Raiders. I should bring that next time
You
and just
should,
to have her like
please.
propped up somewhere.
Especially if they beat the Chargers this week. You got to
Oh
bring it.
yeah, yeah. And then so Santino would like put her on his camera and say, "Hey, look at Mrs. Frieden
On the Zoom calls.
On the Zoom calls, and she was like, "Oh, take that off of me! I would never wear that." So that's how we like to taunt their teacher.
But she's a legit fan, so I have a lot of respect for her. She's a season ticket holder. She's been to the Super Bowl. She's not a casual fan. She's a real deal fan. Why the Chargers, I have no idea. But she chose that team, just like people would say that about me. Like,
I know.
how do you like the Raiders? They've been terrible for 19 out of 20 years.
And what do you always say about Raider fans and like anyone he always says to my single friends who are,
Yes,
in the
so
market looking for somebody
I
to
always
date.
would tell her single friends, just find a Raider fan. Get set up with the Raider fan because there's nobody more loyal than a Raider fan. Like, we just been through nothing but terrible times for, I'm telling you, 20 years. We went to the Super Bowl one time and got destroyed by our head coach from the year before, who's now our head coach again, John Gruden.
Okay, well, hopefully then you guys do big things this year.
Hoping to do big things this year. And if anybody hasn't had a chance, you got to go see that stadium. We're going this year. I'm going to take you. We're going to go to the stadium. I want to see it. I want you to see it. So much fun. What do you guys think? You guys think I should go to the game next Monday at SoFi?
He wants to go. He can go if he would like.
Maybe I'll go. Maybe I just go by myself.
Well, if that's what you choose.
Well, it's Monday. I really want to take Corey, but it's Monday, so that makes things really difficult because we'd have to have somebody come to the house to watch the kids.
Right.
And we just don't trust enough people to come watch the kids.
No, they have school the next day, so I mean, you should go with your friends.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
You need
we'll
to get
see.
more excited about that. It's the Raiders and the Chargers.
'Cause
I
I-
even asked his teacher if she had any tickets, and but she had already sold them. So darn.
For me, I'm a diehard. Like, I know the practice squad players. I know the guys on the 53-man roster that don't see the field. I know how many snaps they had in the game afterwards. Like, I'm a diehard Raider fan. So when I go with a casual fan and they're like worried about grabbing another beer when I'm going to miss a play, I'm like,
Yeah, no,
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. It's like when we would go to the Dodger games and the kids just wanted to play in that playground. I'm like, no, we have to go watch the game. Like, I didn't come to a Dodger game for you to go hang out in a playground. We could do that on the weekend at Richard Drew Park. So I get it. So it looks
Tanya,
like
I will take you up on that offer if you want. But it's a Monday night, girl. Do you want to come watch the kids on Monday night?
Tanya said she'll watch the kids for us. And then Flora said, Raider fan, always a Raider fan through thick and thin. And then Urvashi said, I don't know if you guys talked about it. I wanted to know what is being built near Six Flags, the 5 Point Valencia.
Oh.
We will get into that. We have the real estate segment, so we'll definitely add that to our topic for today.
Yes, that'll be the first thing we talk about so we can answer Avashi's question because there's a lot of information on that.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Tanya. Really? Okay, I'll look into getting tickets for you, I guess.
For us,
I
not for just me, for us.
For you to watch the game, and
It's
I
an
will
experience.
accompany you and cheer.
It's like
For
for
us.
Corey's birthday, I think I should get her Raider season tickets. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. We'll see how that plays out for you. Do it. Thanks, Angel.
So Angel's here too. How you doing, Angel?
Hi, Angel. Oh, my goodness. So, okay, cool. Well, now we may have plans for Monday.
So that was Sunday. So the reason we were talking about Raiders, they played Sunday. They won in overtime. That's 2 games out of 3 they won in overtime. And we're having a good time. My brother-in-law, Corey's brother, Alan, brought a piñata over. He was telling me how he just bought this random piñata the other day for no reason whatsoever. So I was like, dude, bring it to the house on Sunday, and we'll let the kids smash the piñata.
Oh, they always love piñatas. It's so much fun.
So when the cousins get together, they get a little excited, like I'm sure all your kids out there do with their cousins. So, I come outside and it gets dark quicker, and it's like 7 o'clock or 7:30. Santino's in a t-shirt and shorts with no socks on, no sweater.
I'm not cold. I'm having fun.
I'm like, boy, you better go in and put a jacket on.
Right.
And he was upset about it, but of course he did. But then so the next day he woke up. I didn't even wake up yet. He woke up with a cough.
Yes. So
On Monday, this Monday that just passed.
that night when he was going to bed, he said he felt a little stuffy. I'm like, oh, great. Hopefully he's not getting a cold or getting sick. And obviously now, given the times that we're in, the first thing you think of is, I hope my kid doesn't have COVID. And so the next morning he wakes up with a cough. I'm like, I have to be that responsible parent. I am not sending him to school today because he's going to end up getting sent home anyways. And I'm genuinely worried about how he's doing.
Sure.
So I called the school, fill out, you have to do a health screening every day. And right when you say there's a new cough, there's a big warning sign. Stop. Do not enter the school. I'm like, oh, okay.
Whoa, I never fill that out, so I don't.
Well, I fill it out every day. So I'm like, okay, I already knew that. I'm not going to take my kid to school. But then I'm also thinking, like, what about these kids that I've been seeing going to school with these crazy coughs and the parents still take them? Like, did you just lie on that screening test? I don't know.
I'm sure a lot of parents do.
I think they do. So I end up calling the office too, just as a precaution to report it, because I don't know if this health screening thing alerts the office that he's not feeling well. I'm sure it does, but I call anyways. And
I can see a big red siren. Somebody said they have a cough. No?
No, probably not. I don't think it's like that, but okay, that's a nice idea. And so I call the school and the nurse says, okay, well, it's probably nothing, but he can't return without a negative COVID test. So
What?
I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand they want to keep the kids safe, and I do appreciate that. I wasn't upset by any means, but what was really frustrating is trying to find a place that does rapid COVID testing for kids with an appointment available, not even just for that same day or the second day. Like it was like 3 or 4 days out. So I'm going to leave my kid who just has probably like a little cold or allergies home from school while I'm waiting to get a COVID test. It's like, I would think by now things may have been a little bit more revamped where we have rapid COVID testing available for things like this.
Sure.
Because we're going into cold season, right? So I was looking and looking, and then I was considering going to COC, but they said that they wouldn't have the test back in time. So I ended up going to urgent care. I'm like, great. They did our COVID test for when we went on vacation. And I get there, we got an appointment, which is great. I got him in at 9:30. We go and they're like, okay, well, the doctor will see you. I'm like, I don't need to see a doctor because I've been down this road with the urgent care. They want to charge you an arm and a leg.
It's like $300 for an urgent care visit.
And they're covered under our insurance. So I just thought, oh, cool. Just take them there until 4 or 5 months later, you get this crazy bill in the mail. I'm like, whatever, this is what I got to do. I try to fight him. They said, nope, that's against our policy. So a doctor does have to see him and administer the COVID test. So we did that. Everything was fine. They said it's probably just allergies. A little post-nasal drip, give him a Zyrtec, it'll dry up. And his test came back negative.
And you went to school the next day.
But like the fiasco, like I just feel like maybe they could have, I don't know, there's all these mandates, which I appreciate, but
they
can't there be like a separate thing for kids? Like it's already scary enough.
Do they?
They don't take at-home tests anymore.
And they should.
But they don't. It's like a new mandate that they just rolled
all right,
out.
So let's break this down for another family, right? So we've been on both sides of this. And what I mean by that is, so she just told you about our experience with Santino being, having a cough and trying to be responsible. But let's play the other side of this. So a couple weeks ago, she was at Nola's school, saw a kid coughing. Kid goes into the school anyway. Parent still takes him to school. And then he gets sent home later because he had COVID symptoms, right? And there's multiple parents upset. Like, the mom should have never brought the kid to school.
Right. And then I was torn because I heard the kid. It wasn't just like a little cough. It was like
a smoker cough? It
was bad and it was constant. So I'm like looking at him like, and the mom, like, you're taking him to school like that? And I saw other parents too. And it's like, what do you do? Do you say something in an instance like that? Or do you just sit back and then hopefully the kid doesn't have COVID and your kid doesn't get exposed to it? Or hopefully the kid doesn't have a cold and spread the cold to your kid. And then your kid has to be treated like they possibly have COVID and they miss school too.
Right. Well, they got to figure something out, because what about that parent or parents that work every single day, right? It's a big deal if they got to keep their kid home because they can't go to work. But on top of that, now they can't even get a same day test result with the at home test, which they should be able to do.
Right.
Because at least they could, they're a lot more affordable.
Right.
$30, you go get a test and you go to school the next day, as opposed to having to go to Exer. Even if you have insurance, it's an urgent care visit. Now it's $350.
I know.
So that parent missed a day of work, right? And they spent $300. That can make or break somebody that's living check to check.
Oh, I know. I it's just beyond me. I don't know. I feel like there just has to be another way. And like, if these rapid tests are being required, like, don't they have like maybe they can get them like in a big surplus and you pay a fee to the school to get the test and then take it home? Like, they're going to require it, right?
Oh, like the school provides the test.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it because of liability issues.
Oh, I don't know.
If there's a faulty whatever,
yeah, that's
it
true.
just opens up too much liability.
Well, all those rapid tests, the at-home kits were sold out at Walgreens and CVS, but like I said, for our particular district, they're not even accepting them anymore. So it looks like we have some comments here on people who may have experienced something similar to what we have. So Flor said our school sends a form to give permission for them to do a rapid test if needed. Oh, they do the test at the school for the kid?
I'd like to hear that, Flor.
Oh, that's
do they do the test
interesting.
at the school? If they do that, that would be great.
So then they keep the kid at the school until the test results come in? That's interesting. I don't know.
You get the rapid score back at the at-home test. You get them in 30 minutes. You get the results.
What school district are you in too, Flor? I'm really interested.
They're up in Palmdale, in West Palmdale. So I think what's that, Antelope Valley School District?
I don't know the exact name, but for anyone else who's tuning in who might be interested in this, might be a good resource for them to know about. And then Urvashi said, I had to do a regular COVID test for Ronak at COC, no rapid available, but luckily it was the weekend, so we didn't miss much, only missed Friday. Oh, well, that's good. And hopefully everything came back
Hopefully
all right.
He didn't have it.
Well, I think if he only missed Friday, so it was probably a negative test. I understand that's like inconvenient, and it's like with everything with COVID, we have to be able to adapt and change, but it's hard, right? Like there's all these other hoops you have to jump through, right? But I get it. It's taxing on the parents, so.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then it looks like Olga made a comment too. My grandson school also does them on site at LA Unified.
No
what?
way.
What is going on? Come on. Like Newhall School District, get with the times. If this is happening, like you would feel like that would be an option.
You got all those PTA connections, the PTO connections. You didn't get...
PTA doesn't have anything to do with COVID.
They yell at the schools though, don't they?
Yeah, I know. Maybe I need to start talking with them. Yeah. Very interesting. Oh, yes, it was negative, but he was exposed to a kid who tested positive. Oh, poor kid. Hopefully he's all right. Yikes. I mean, it's scary. We just have to be as careful and as mindful as possible. But it's very interesting that there's other schools that are offering them on site. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. That's great to know. It's so weird. Now you got to think about all these different things when you're buying a house. Because before you thought about just school districts for academics,
right?
Which that's still usually the number one priority for parents. But now you might have to think about some of these policies as well.
Right.
Right? Because it's tough. A lot of parents need their kids to be in school.
Right, absolutely.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that to consider. There was one more comment on here. Do you mind if I just go to that right before we go on to the break?
Yeah, we'll take a break soon. But yeah, let's go through this comment.
So Flor said, I don't have a lot of info on it, but they just sent it. It's good because we went through the same thing and kids were home 5 days because of waiting for the test.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and it's so hard for these kids to like get back in their groove, right? Like I wanted to get Santino back because I don't want him to think like, oh, whenever I'm not feeling good, I could just be like, oh, I'm not feeling good and then have to stay home because like, guess what? Now I'm going to have to go through that whole process again.
Right.
And like, maybe you just have a little bit of allergies, which he does have a history of allergies.
So I was telling him how lucky him and Nola. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so lucky. You went to California Adventure on Friday. You had your first sleepover on Saturday. You got to hang out with your cousins and your Thea and your Theos on Sunday. And then I left it at that. And then Santino's like, and I didn't have to go to school on Monday.
That lucky kid. Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
He had an all-day
school.
appointment with Pokemon that day. And let me tell you, I had a little bit of mom guilt about it, but then I was like, Mommy's got to work.
Got to work too.
So, but we're playing catch up on his schoolwork and he's been practicing his words. So it's all good. There's a little bit of some homework I sprinkled in there, but he was happy with his Pokemon. So, anyways, but before we get on to our next topic, we're going to be taking a little break here soon.
When we get back, let's dive into Ravashi's question about the community that's being built behind Magic Mountain, known as 5 Point.
Absolutely. It sounds great. Well, we're excited to chat more with you when we get back here on R&R Relationships and Real Estate with Corey and Chris Silva. And we'll look forward to talking to you very soon. Welcome back to R&R, Relationships and Real Estate. I'm your host, Corey Silva. This is my handsome husband, Christopher Silva, and we are here to talk all things about relationships and real estate.
Relationships and real estate.
We're the owners of Silva Realty and Silva Lending, and we've been in the real estate industry since 2004. So we've been in it for quite some time.
Yes.
Chris and I have been together since we were 16, and we have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to relationships and real estate.
We sure do. We were together we were together before we got married longer than most marriages last.
Yes.
And now we've been married for 16 years, 15 years.
16.
Something like that.
Something like that. He's lost track of time. But thank you, everybody, so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you here. And gosh, we've had so much interaction today. I'm really loving this because I'm learning a lot of things from people that I could go back and share with other people in our school district to help out with some of the things that we're experiencing as parents with COVID, right? So thank you all for being here. And we had a question on our last segment about real estate and some new developments that are coming up near Six Flags. Sure. So one of them, it looks like we just had a comment before we get into that. Professor Lecca, thank you so much for joining us. Happy birthday, Chris. How does it feel to be 21?
Thank you so much, Professor Lecca. So the kids asked me today, so how old are you now, Daddy? And I told them 21 with a straight face. And they looked at each other and they go, no, you're just kidding. You're so much older than that, Dad. And then I was like, how old do you think I am? And then they said 51.
51?
51. And I was like, holy shit, do they really think I'm 51?
They went from 40 last year to 51.
They jumped up real quick. I mean, it does feel like you age 10 years when you know.
And when you pass 40.
When you pass 40.
Each year feels like another decade.
Each year. So I'm missing Professor Lecca, Professor Art, and my whole Checkmat family. And I already know that when I get back, I'm going to pay for not being there for the last 2 weeks. Because prior to that, I went a couple weeks and then I was missed a month and a half with injuries. And in jiu-jitsu, for anybody that does it out there, you know if you miss a week or two, oh man, it's like you're starting all over. I'm probably going to be getting my butt kicked for the next month once I get back before I get to where I'm feeling good again.
And I almost called you Santino. And Chris always has these grandiose ideas that he's going to fit in a jiu-jitsu class right before the podcast, like every Wednesday. And I think he's done it a few times. But I'm like, you're going to be so tired. You haven't been going. Like, you're not a spring chicken. You need to work your way into it again.
It's so funny because the way I'm looking at stuff, Friday, I like to go. If I'm going like I'm supposed to be, I go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just 3 days a week. I'm not trying to overdo it. And I'm a morning person, so they're all morning classes. But now Fridays have been taken over by Disneyland Fridays, right? Mm-hmm. I think I could still go to class and make it out in time, but will I make it through Disneyland walking after I just rolled for an hour? I don't know that I will.
Honestly, if that's a goal for you, then you might just have to stay home because I'm not trying to take a third kid to Disneyland and hear some crying the whole day.
I'll get one of those motorized. If they let you put the kids in the motorized scooters, I would get one every single time.
I have seen kids sit on laps of grandmas.
They're not supposed to be in there.
Oh, well, the cast members aren't on their A game with making the kids get out.
All right, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, it was my birthday yesterday, and I turned 41 years old.
Oh, happy birthday, baby.
Oh, thank you, baby. So I felt all the extra love at home yesterday. It was really nice.
Made him breakfast when he woke up. Let him sleep in a little bit. What else did you do? He did have to work during the day, but...
I worked all day.
And we treated you to a wonderful day on Sunday of relaxation,
Absolutely.
A Raider game.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
And,
don't take it that way.
And a nice barbecue. And then at nighttime, we tried a new restaurant.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah, we won't even put them on blast, but it's okay.
I mean, if anybody that knows me, I'm simple. I'm a simple person. I mean, there's a handful of things that make me really happy in life, right? It's my wife, my kids, friends, real estate, the Raiders, the Lakers. I mean, there's not a ton of simple stuff. And I got to be with my family and enjoy them and enjoy watching the Raider game. And I had a great time. That's a happy birthday to me.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you had a great time.
But let's dive right back into real
Wait,
estate.
before
Right?
we do, we had a few comments before we dive in. Because it looks like, okay. Friday BJJ will be your warm up for Disneyland. Okay. And it looks like it's Professor Art who's on commenting under Professor Lekka's name. If you want to go and take care of him while he's whining, you're more than welcome to join us, and he can go on Friday. And then Pink Chicken. Why you got to come with the jokes? Okay, that was like how many years ago? You need to come to our house and I'll cook for you. Because how was the barbecue this time?
Bomb. It was great. But here's the big but. I'm not trying to have you cook chicken for me.
Could cook for yourself. See if you have any meals left over.
So what people don't, if anybody doesn't get that pink chicken joke, so years ago when
Here
when
we
we
go.
first
He's going to rehash it.
when we first moved in
You don't
together,
have to go into the detail, just point blank, I didn't know how to cook.
hey, look, I'm just trying to interact with our guests.
I understand that, but you don't need to go all the way through the whole
What
story.
if people are looking at this and they're like,
What pink chicken?
what pink chicken? So they want to know about this pink chicken. Let me just tell them
Okay,
about it real quick.
go ahead.
Or would you like to tell them about it?
You know so much about it.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
so the pink chicken.
Exactly, rambling.
Really quick on the pink chicken. When we first got together and we first lived together, we were learning about each other. And I learned that Corey didn't know how to cook chicken because it was always nice and looked beautiful on the outside. And you open it up and it was pink.
Okay, I was young. So anyways,
Diving back into real estate.
diving back into real estate.
So we had a question from Ravashi. And she was asking about what are they building behind Magic Mountain in Valencia? So it is a whole new community called 5 Point. Okay, and this is going to be a 10-year project, you guys. So it's not something that's like going up and going down real quick. They're going to be building and building and building for years and years to come. But right now, as of today, here's the builders that are in there. We currently have Toll Brothers that just opened up. Mm-hmm. There's still no models yet. But they're going phase by phase. I believe they're going to have 10 phases of 7 homes. Okay. Prices start about 1.25 million. And the square footage starts off about 3,200 square feet, goes all the way up to about 37 and some change. Okay. So Toll Brothers, if you're looking at a totem pole, they'd be at the top of the totem pole. And I'm not going to talk about necessarily quality. I'm going to talk about pricing.
Right.
They're the most expensive builder out here. Okay. So you got Toll Brothers that are there. Tri-Point's not there yet, but they will be soon. Mm-hmm. So just be on the lookout for that. Probably early next year, we'll have Tri-Point there as well. Then we have Lennar. So Lennar doesn't have a single family residence product yet. Let me explain that for you, those of you that don't know real estate. They're detached condos, but there's no backyard. So you have a side yard where if you're in your living room, there's a big slider. Some of them are like the 3 windows. You open it up. KB is very similar, which I'll talk about next. And you're looking at your neighbors, the side of their house. That's it. No backyard. Those are starting. They say prices start in the 700s. Before they're about the 8s, right? And then for their biggest model, they say in the 8s, but they're like $950 to $1 million. And their biggest product they have, it's beautiful. It's a 3-story, and it has a huge balcony that acts like a backyard.
Oh, that's nice.
With views and everything.
Well,
but there's no backyard.
But some people may not want to have the maintenance of a backyard.
True. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a market for everybody.
Exactly.
But to pay $950 for a place that doesn't have a backyard, and it's a brand new community, so you don't know, there's no proof of concept yet, right? They're just they're looking at comparable sales in close neighborhoods, which you have the Woodlands if you go a little bit farther out, right? Mm-hmm. In Valencia, you got Westridge, you got Stevenson Ranch, but nobody has a product like that.
You're right.
It's a brand new product. So what I mean by product, a 3-story with no backyard and a huge balcony is a new concept, right? So Lennar's trying to come out with these new futuristic homes.
And I think it's new for this area, like maybe in other areas that are, densely populated. That's something that someone may be used to who's coming from the city. So maybe that's what they're trying to gear it towards, someone who's coming from the city.
So to me, they're taking a gamble. It may pay off. It may not pay off, because my idea and my experience, and I think I'm not going to speak for you, but you can tell me if you agree with me or not. When we convince people to move out of the cities and come up to Santa Clarita, because I'm always trying to sell our friends that live in San Fernando Valley to come up to Santa Clarita because we love it so much.
We love it here.
They come here for the schools and they come here for the bigger homes and space, and people want backyards.
Yes.
That's why they come here. So now we're going to tell them, hey, come pay $1 million for this house, which they can get a place in the valley for $1 million with a yard, and now you don't have a yard. We'll see if that works out or not. I'm curious to see.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean,
I have no idea.
personally, it's not favorable to me, but
Me
like
neither.
you said, there's a market for everything, correct?
There's a market for everything. For me, I would think if you're having a 3-story, you need younger people on those properties, right? Because as you get older, I mean, I'm 41. I don't want to climb 3 stories. I wouldn't buy a house like that. 3 stories, what young person can afford $1 million property? So I'm interested to see what kind of people are buying those properties and if they sell out. I'm sure they're going to sell out because of the market, but I love to see that. So anyhow, you have that product with Lennar. So anywhere between the 8s up to $1 million of what they're offering. And then we have KB, which is the most affordable product out there. They make a really good product. So KB's come a long way. What I love about KB is when you walk into their first model, so their little neighborhood community is called Clover, and they have 3 homes, let's say 1, 2, and 3. The first home is pretty much what you see is what you get in the models, which is good for people to get an idea. It's fair.
Well, yeah, because they don't tell you when you walk into these model homes that everything is pretty much an upgrade, depending on the builder. For KB, you're saying it's included. But a lot of the builders, they put in all these upgrades, and then you're thinking, wow, this is beautiful. I could totally envision myself in here. But what you don't realize is the day you get your keys, you walk into white walls, and nothing is done.
And cheap flooring.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't care if you're going to Toll Brothers, you're getting tile, and small tiles, right? And you're getting carpet in the bedrooms. You're getting carpet in the living rooms, unless you upgrade. So, for example, in a Toll Brothers home, they say about the average price that people pay for upgrades is 20% of the purchase price. So if you're at $1.5 million for a home, you're looking at an additional $300,000 in upgrades.
Is that through their builder or?
Through their builder.
Okay. Well, but sometimes it's a little bit more pricey if you do your upgrades through them. But who wants to close on a house and then demolish the inside and pay for your own upgrades after closing, right? So they kind of get you. It's like.
It's tough. I'd say for the people that don't have the cash, that are not buying cash, right? They're financing. They prefer to finance the upgrades.
The upgrades, yeah.
So you put it in the purchase price and you put it in your loan, and it's a lot cheaper to put 20% down of $300,000 than to put $300,000 out of your pocket.
Absolutely.
Right? There's pros and cons to that. You pay a higher property tax rate. So anyhow, going back to KB, KB has a product. They're a little bit smaller. They're like 1,500 square feet between, I think, 1,250 and like 1,600 square feet. And they range from the 6s to the high 7s. And that's pretty spot on.
Right.
So that's the most affordable product. They're selling out pretty quick. And right now, all the models are open for KB and Lennar. So do me a favor. If you're watching this show and you want to go see these models, call us first.
Don't go by yourself.
Don't go by yourself. The minute you go in there and you sign in without us, we can no longer help you there. They will not allow us to represent you. So just call us first. Don't think we're too busy, because if we can't get out there, let's say today, and you want to get out there today, we'll make sure one of our agents could go out there to at least sign you in, and we'll make sure to go out there the very next possibility that we can get out there.
It looks like we had a comment from Professor Art. Corey and Chris, would you happen to know the HOA costs for this community? Also, will there be a Melrose?
Yes. So do you want to take that, or do you want me to take that?
Well, definitely there's HOA and there is Melrose. So I don't know the exact numbers. Would you be happy to share that?
So it varies per builder, but it's pretty standard. You're looking at HOA on the low end, $250, on the high end, $400, depending on what builder you go with. And then on the Melrose, they're all typically about 0.5%. So typical property tax rate is 1.25%. They're, depending on the builder, again, they're finishing off about 1.75 to 1.8. So about 0.5%. So you're looking about $400 or $500 a month on Melrose
And that's for the more higher end
for the higher
homes.
end.
The
So
lower.
let's say $400 to $500, right? About 350 to 500, and then for HOA you're looking at 250 to 400. So, I mean that's almost $800 a month just on Melrose and HOA.
And then Urvashi made a comment as well. Do you think new homes are a good investment? As in, if we're looking to buy an investment property?
That's tough because if you're looking to purchase a brand new home, wouldn't you want to live in it first, I think? And if you're buying it, not doing the upgrades, you're going to want to do certain things. When you buy an investment property, flooring is a big thing, right? Don't necessarily want to have carpet in there because you're going to be replacing that carpet every single time you change out a renter. So, you're going to want to upgrade there. I think you have to decide what kind of tenant you're looking for. If you're buying one of these new constructions, you're spending $1 million. Now you're hoping to get $5,000-$6,000 a month on rent. I know it sounds astronomical, but it's out there. People are paying that much money for rent. But you would need to get that much for this kind of investment to make sense for you. But I think if you're looking to rent a property out, I don't think Toll Brothers would be the answer because you're buying at 125. That's the low end. You're probably going to be spending $1.5 million, which means if you're putting 20% down, doing calculations in my head, your mortgage is probably going to be about $7,500 to $8,500 a month with, Melrose, HOA, all that stuff. And for a 3,600 square foot home, I don't care that it's a brand new community, you're not going to get $8,000 a month.
Not when you could just go down the street and get something very similar and people are paying a lot less, right?
Well, I know the homes, I'm sure some of the Westridge homes can rent for that much. And then I know some of the homes in Southern Oaks, they were an agent, they took their property off the market and they were renting it. And that was a 4,200 square foot home. They were renting for $7,000 a month. So I don't think somebody's going to pay $8,000 for a 3,600 square foot home. I don't see it. Maybe you could get temporary rental, but I wouldn't do it. Maybe one of those Clover properties, the KB homes, it might be worth it. And same thing with Lennar. But to get somebody to pay top dollar for a rental, they'll usually pay more if their credit's not as good. We have experience of doing that and getting burned. So we will only work with good credit now. But when somebody has, 740 plus FICO scores, they have some choices when they want to go rent.
Right.
So you'll typically give them a little bit of a break to keep them there and attract that good renter.
Right, definitely. Well, Ravashi made a comment, my neighbor rents for $7,000 and that's over in Westridge. So, well, that's good. Yeah, I see. So, well, what are you feeling right now, like this market? I know we're getting a little bit crunched with time because I'll have to be leaving soon. So I don't want to cut you off or anything, but do you feel like this market is going to crash, or do you feel like it's slowing down, or do you think it's just seasonal? Like, what's your opinion about what's happening right now?
So if anybody out there owns a home, sell right now because the market's going to crash tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. So I don't think the market's going to crash. Everything that we're hearing from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, big institutions believe that we will start having a correction, but we're probably a year or two out before the interest rates even start changing. Supply is still high, demand is still low, and interest rates are still good. So that tells me we're going to continue to have a pretty steady market and maybe even slight appreciation more than we already have. Okay. But yes, I've experienced a little bit of a slowdown, and it's normal in this business, but we had a lot of closings, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really slow.
Well, you're stressed out when you're busy, and then you're stressed out when you're like, okay, the pipeline is starting to go down, and now what am I going to do? And it's like you just kind of switch your gears and revamp in other places, and it's just totally normal for anyone who owns their own business. You can totally relate. When you're busy, you're stressed, and when you're not, you're stressed. Like,
right,
what's going to keep me busy? So it's just trying to find that balance in life, right?
Right. Personally, I would love to help 15 more families before the year's out, either sell a home, buy a home, or help them with the loan. There's something for everybody right now. If you're looking to get your house in order, get everything ready. Right now, we typically start planning for next year. Our finances, our goals for our business, we typically start in about October, November. Usually October. We want to be done by November, already knowing what our goals are for the following year. So for anybody out there, it's a good time to sit down, look at your finances, figure out, are you happy in your home? Is this your forever home that you're living in? Or are you planning on possibly moving up? Maybe it's not now, but maybe next summer you want to get ready. It might not be a bad idea. Do a refinance, clean up your credit by paying off some debt, spruce up your house. Because remember, the kitchen and the bathrooms, especially the master bathroom, they're going to get you a big ROI, return on your investment. So you're going to make that money back, and you can start getting your house ready now for next summer or spring and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy that brand new kitchen, enjoy that brand new master bathroom or flooring before you sell your home. So I'd love to help those people. I'd love to have conversations with those people. And even if it's just an idea in your head, you're not wasting our time by giving us a call. I talked to I always say our favorite clients, but
all of them are
our favorite, right? But I talked to one of our favorite couples. They're Marines, and they were Marines like, I don't know, they've been married like 35 years or something, right? Anyhow, they're thinking about it too. They're saying, hey, well, we're thinking about actually renting our house out and finding a new property for ourselves, and what should we do? And they're just planning. It's just a conversation.
And like the questions that Urvashi's having, like, do we think this is a good investment with the new construction? I mean, let's talk about it. Maybe this might not be a good investment, but maybe there are some other options out there for you. Like, let's sit down and talk about some plans so you can put the amount of money that you see appreciation in your home now that you could put somewhere else to help it start building wealth for you.
Sure, and we could have those conversations on the next one, or we could have them off the air.
For sure.
But I haven't even told you this. I was looking up multi-unit in Indiana last night.
Oh, well, we kind of talked about that the other day. Where can we put our money to kind of have our money work for us instead of it just having it sit in our house for now?
Sure, and let's try to get this last question.
There's another question. So Christian said, cash out refi is pretty popular right now, that there's been a lot of appreciation. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So there's a ton of appreciation in most people's house. If you've been in your house a couple years, you can already, and you haven't put 20% down, you could refinance, get rid of the property mortgage insurance every month, which is usually saving people like a couple $100s, right? You can also, if you've been in your house 5 years plus, you probably have a lot more appreciation than that. That's when you could get, like I'm talking about, if this is not your forever home, take some cash out, spruce it up, get it ready, or consolidate debt. Start the new year off right. Plan for it now. That way, when January hits, you're not doing your New Year's resolution, and then you're already 3 months behind trying to get that New Year's resolution done. Get it done January 1st. Have it already done and start the new year off right.
Yeah, and we don't know what rates will do, but the rates are amazing right now, so why not take advantage of them while you can?
Yeah, I don't want to predict the rates, but they're great right now, so if it fits, you should look into it at least if you haven't already looked into it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We've had a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions that we were able to engage with you guys today. It's been a great podcast, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I love the interaction. Thank you so much for all the great questions. It makes our job up here a lot easier.
Yep, for sure. Well, thank you for joining Corey and Chris on R&R, Relationships and Real Estate. We're looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. We look forward to talking to you guys.
Bye.